Hey folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. My name's Nick Granville. I'm a professional guitar player from Wellington, New Zealand. Little place in the Pacific, a little island called New Zealand. You might have heard of it before. Because of the All Blacks, right? Who doesn't love a good rugby game? Our most popular team here. So today I thought I'd talk about choosing gear. It seems to be something that a lot of people struggle with, right? How do you go about it? What are my recommendations? Stuff like that. You know, I mean, unless you've got money just to throw at stuff, that's a different thing. If you're infinitely rich and you can just go and buy stuff and willing to lose money on it, sure, go for whatever you want. Most of us have a budget to work with and some kind of constraints to kind of sort of try and make our money go as far as possible. So, first thing I'd say is, you know, I'm going to break this down to three categories: guitars, pedals, amps, right? First thing to do, where should you start with a guitar? Well, first thing you need to do is work out what style of music you play, what style of music you want to play, and what the future looks like for you, right? One of the reasons I like this guitar so much is because it does a lot of things well. I can do a good jazz tone, you know, like this. I'm going to turn the mic off. And then I can do a funk tone. Can do country, rock, the whole lot. So that kind of suits a lot of what I do. A guitar like this, for example, is more of a rock machine. I use this when I want to play rock stuff. It's really what it does. It's kind of in that Les Paul territory. And a guitar like this one, just like a 335 sort of thing. This really is, I would call them in between ground of the two, right? The 335 type thing is like a sort of Les Paulish, but not really. It's a bit more acoustic. It can do a lot of different things too. So work out what style you do, what styles you think you're going to be asked to do, and where you think you're going to go in the future. And then that helps to choose a guitar. There's a reason John Scofield plays one of these. This is his signature model too, by the way. If you look at his style, right, he's coming from a blues place. He's clearly listened to some B.B. King and people like that. And then he's coming from a jazz place too. So a hollow body instrument with F-holes suits the stylistic direction he's going in. Now, unfortunately, there are some mistakes you have to make. You have to buy stuff and kind of go, you know, you get it home and you sort of play it for a while and then you go, you know, it's not really me. How do you avoid that as much as possible? One of the first things you do is go on YouTube and watch a whole bunch of videos, right? And that's useful to a point. I mean, even my videos, you know, I'd hope people get use from them on the gear demo stuff I do. But also, I do recognize that it's just my opinion, right? I mean, if you go and watch a video by, I don't know, Philip McKnight, someone whose channel I watch a lot. He's someone whose channel I watch a lot. You might find that, you know, he has a differing opinion because he plays different music than I do, right? So watch a few different videos, talk to people, have a look around, see where you can get the best price that suits you, and then make an informed decision. I think if you're going to buy a guitar, never buy a guitar you haven't tried, right? It's very risky. I mean, you could, you know, something like Paul Reed Smith, generally pretty consistent. I wouldn't buy a Gibson sight unseen. You know, Gibson these days aren't as consistent as they used to be. Ibanez are generally pretty consistent. Fender are mostly, you know, pretty good really, but you know, they have their moments, especially on the cheaper models. But you know, so yeah, try and play it in person if you can, right? So my advice would be, watch some YouTube videos, ask around, ask people, check out what's around, think carefully about what you're doing right now, but what you want to do in the future, and that should kind of set you up for what sort of instrument you should be looking at, right? Pedals and stuff like that. These little boxes, we love them, don't we, as guitarists, because they're relatively inexpensive, although not now. I mean, you get $1,000 pedals, like the Strymon stuff, you know, which is awesome. But, you know, we love pedals, right? Where should you start with pedals? Well, I always suggest that people start with overdrive pedals, right? Because that's usually like something you can do. Unless you're playing jazz stuff, then you probably have more use from a reverb pedal or something like that. But most people, the majority of people, is going to be overdrive pedals, right? And I would say stick to the classics. So what are the classics? Like tube screamers, if you think that's your kind of thing, or things like OCDs or BB preamps, Or, you know, even something like this, which has a blues breaker and an OCD in one pedal. Well, that kind of kills two birds, and it's two classic circuits in their own kind of take on it. That could be a good way to go. And I find that a lot of times with people with pedals, what they do is they kind of... they don't know where to start because there's so many options. Again, YouTube videos are useful, but have a talk to somebody who does what you do. Right? Say you're an aspiring session musician. Have a talk to someone who is a session musician and ask them, what do you use? I remember Adam Goldsmith talking about the King of Tone pedal a lot and how much he loved that. So that was one that, you know, I made a point of checking out because Adam's a legend, right? And I love his playing. I think he's a great player. I think, you know, he's one of the UK's top session players without a doubt, right? So if he's saying the King of Tone is something you should recommend, and, you know, he's being honest about it, it's not just him kind of being paid to say so, then that's a pedal you should check out, right? If you have access, I mean, everywhere in the world there are session musicians, so have a talk to one of your local guys. There'll be some local person who does the session work in your town, if that's something you aspire to be. If you aspire to be like a jazz fusion god, someone like a Mike Stern or someone like that, right? Have a look at what Mike uses. And the thing with someone like Mike is you might go, well, he's using this particular pedal, but I think I can get that with another thing. That's a really good way to go too, right? Like, you don't need, if you see someone like Jeff Beck, you know, and you see a video of him using a clon, you don't need a clon, right? Don't waste your money on that unless you've got unlimited amounts of cash, right? But, you know, there's so many clon copies now that are really good. The Archer pedals by J Rocket, they're just as good, in my opinion. Not that I've played a real clon, but, you know, I've heard many side-by-side comparisons, and for what I would want, I think it's pretty close. It's good enough that I'm not willing to sink $10,000 into a clon, right? And then with amps, when it comes to amps, I think if you're starting out and it's your first amp, don't buy a modeler. I think the first place to start is with a quality tube amp, because if you don't know anything about amps, you're going to really struggle with a modeler. You're like, how do you know what you're trying to achieve by modeling? So I would suggest, if you're looking for an amp and you're getting started out, you know, some kind of Fender tube amp is a really good place to start. I often recommend those Blues Juniors. Really good little amps. They sound decent. They have a master volume, so you can get a bit of drive and compression at lower volume, but it'll kind of teach you about a good clean tone and where to go, right? That's a good place to start, right? Or a deluxe reverb. Something like that. If you're more into the Vox thing, then an AC15, something small, tube, that's the way to go, right? If you're a rocker or a metalhead, then, you know, you probably don't need my advice anyway, but maybe some kind of Marshall or Mesa Boogie type thing, you know what I mean? But start with the classics and you can't go wrong. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is do buy secondhand. Secondhand can be really great and can save you a whole lot of money, so that, you know, if you buy something for, say, $500 and you go, okay, well, I'm willing to take a punt on it for $500, you might have it for a year and then sell it again for $500. So that's all right. You haven't really, or even if you sell it for $450, it's cost you $50 for a year. Great. So that can be a good way to go, you know. So have a look around at secondhand. If you're not really sure, then take somebody with you who knows about that stuff and can check it out and can go, this amp, these pots are a bit scratchy. Because if you're starting out, you probably don't know that stuff. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. If it has, please subscribe. My name's Nick Granville. I post every day on YouTube. These are guitar daily videos. All kinds of stuff. Jazz, rock, fusion, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll play you out with some stuff, and thanks so much for listening.